Hello, everyone. Today is Wednesday, January 19th, 2022. South Sudan signs peace deal with Splinter Group. This article is taken from Xinhua. South Sudan's government has reached a peace deal in the Sudanese capital, Khartoum, with the breakaway faction of the Sudan People's Liberation Movement Army in Opposition, SPLM, AIO, under Simon Gotwich Dual. The deal negotiated by the Sudan Transitional Government on Sunday includes recommitting to the cessation of hostilities signed on August 8, 2018 in Khartoum that paved way the eventual inking of the revitalized peace deal. President Salva Kiir's security advisor Tut Gatluak Manime signed on behalf of the SPLM IN government, SPLM IG, and Dual signed on behalf of his SPLM AIO that splintered in August 2021 from the mainstream party led by first Vice President Riek Machar. The deal offers amnesty to the leadership and forces of SPLM AIO Kit Wang that has been fighting Machar's faction in the oil-rich Upper Nile state. The clashes between the two opposition factions since August 2021 have left hundreds of soldiers killed on both sides following Dual's decision to denounce Machar's chairmanship of the former rebel movement. Dual accused Machar of weakening the party SPLM AIO and the coalition government formed in February 2020. He blamed Machar for practicing nepotism and not doing enough to push President Kiir to implement the security arrangements to pave way for reintegration of former rebel fighters. SPLA-IO shall establish coordination offices in Juba, Malakal, and Bor towns to assist the process of assembling and reintegration. The parties also agreed to optionalize the transitional security arrangements and allow voluntary repatriation, resettlement, rehabilitation, and reintegration of the refugees and internally displaced people. So this is a major development in South Sudan. You had a falling out between Riek Machar, who was, there was a coalition government at one time a couple years ago. It lasted for a few years, I believe. Excuse me. And the head of the government was Salva Kiir, the one that wears the big hat, just in case you didn't know. And so obviously, I was wondering what happened to Riek Machar, because I hadn't seen him in a while. I always see Salva Kiir. So obviously, they had a falling out about a year and a half ago. And it seems that, I don't know how big a part of Riek Machar's rebel group. It's a political organization as well as, and it has a military arm. But I don't know how large a part of this Machar's military these people are. But I did a little research, and I would imagine that there are about 50,000, if I remember correctly, about 50,000 armed rebels or soldiers, however you want to call them, because they're quasi-government, because they were once a part of the government. But from what I gather, there must be about 50,000 troops altogether. And so maybe 20,000, I don't know, have left and it's going to strengthen the current legitimate government of Salva Kiir, and which will strengthen the government of South Sudan. So this is really good news. It's really good news. I'm sure we'll be hearing more about this. We'll hear developments about um, the, let's call them the rebel group under I think he was vice president, and then you have the current president, um, Salva Kiir, and then you have Riek Machar, who was, I think, the vice president in the coalition government. And so we should be hearing more about the government vis-a-vis the rebel group of Machar, to see, maybe there are attacks, maybe some more people will surrender, but I think we'll hear some more things about South Sudan in the near future, good or bad. More than likely good, though.